As a parent, you want nothing more than to be involved in your child's education. But sometimes it can really feel like you're on the outside looking in, right? Well, today we're going to dig into why that disconnect is even a thing and how one new approach is trying to put parents right back where they belong, at the very center of their child's learning journey. Let's get into it.
Okay, let's kick things off with a question that I bet hits home for a lot of you. Does the word homework just make your whole house tense up? You see your child struggling, or maybe they're just totally checked out, and what should be a calm evening just turns into this nightly battle. It is such a common and honestly a really draining experience for so many families.
And that's the heart of it, isn't it? You would do anything to help, but you feel like you're flying completely blind. The homework doesn't seem to connect to anything, and those report cards, they show up a couple of times a year, long after the fact. It can leave you feeling so powerless, like you're just a spectator in your own kid's education.
Look, this feeling is not just in your head. There is a very real disconnect happening, and it's a huge hurdle for parents who are trying to get involved. So let's really unpack what's causing this gap.
Okay, so the core issue is that the system just isn't built to include parents in the day-to-day. You don't have a clear window into what's really going on. You're left wondering, is this homework hard because they don't get it, or is it just boring busy work because they're way past it? Without knowing that, kids can start to fall behind and get stuck. And here's the wild part. Most of those digital learning tools, they don't help. They usually just rack up more screen time and leave you even more in the dark.
And what's really validating is that this isn't just a hunch we all have. Turns out, it's a well-documented, system-wide issue that researchers have been pointing out for years.
Just listen to this quote from a 2013 study. It found that schools, often without meaning to, can keep parents at arm's length. And the result? Families, who could be the most powerful players on the team, end up being completely underutilized. They're left on the bench.
And that is such a massive missed opportunity, because the research is absolutely crystal clear on this. When parents and teachers actually team up, amazing things happen. We're talking better grades, kids who are more motivated to learn, and even lower dropout rates down the line. That's the incredible potential we're missing out on.
Now you're probably thinking, okay, but what about all the educational apps and websites? Surely technology has fixed this by now. Well, it's a fair question, but it turns out that even with the best intentions, most digital tools are really missing the mark when it comes to bringing parents into the fold.
See, when you look at most of the typical ed tech tools out there, you start to see a pattern. They're built for teachers, and they speak teacher. They give tons of data, sure, but it's wrapped in educational jargon that's almost impossible for parents to understand. For kids, it often just feels like more long, boring tests. And even the free tools, which are great, aren't connected to the classroom. The bottom line is always the same: no shared language and no clear next steps for you as a family.
So this is the exact problem, this specific gap, that a new tool called Grade Level Guru was created to solve. It was designed from the ground up with one goal in mind: to turn parents from frustrated spectators into confident, essential partners in their child's education.
And this is so important. Grade Level Guru wasn't dreamed up by tech folks in Silicon Valley. It was built by two former teachers, Michelle and Amanda, who together have 30 years of real-world classroom experience. They saw this disconnect firsthand, every single day, and they knew there had to be a better way to bring families into the conversation.
So how does it actually work? Well, the beauty is in its simplicity. First, your child takes a short, smart assessment that pinpoints exactly where they're shining and where they have room to grow. Next, you get results that are actually easy to understand, showing you exactly what to focus on. And finally, the app creates a personalized learning path with fun, quick exercises that are just right for your child.
And honestly, this might be the best part. We're not talking about adding another hour of homework to your day. We're talking about 5 to 10 minutes. That's it. 5 to 10 minutes of targeted challenges that you and your child can do together. So it's not about more passive screen time. It's about making that time you spend together really count.
And what this does is it completely changes the entire dynamic. You're no longer just waiting around for a report card to tell you what happened 3 months ago. Instead, you are on a continuous learning journey with your child, seeing and celebrating their growth as it happens.
This approach basically creates a positive rhythm for the whole school year. You start with a baseline in the fall, so you know your starting point. Then a mid-year check-in lets you see the progress and tweak the plan if you need to. And by spring, you have this amazing, clear picture of all the growth that's happened, and you can even set some fun goals for the summer. It becomes a living, breathing map of their progress.
So, what does this all boil down to for you as a parent? It means you finally get clarity. You get that crystal clear insight into your child's specific strengths and needs that you've been looking for. And most importantly, it gives you the tools to take all that information and turn it into simple, actionable next steps, so you can become the true educational partner you've always wanted to be.
And that's really the big takeaway here. Grade Level Guru is designed to be so much more than just another app you download. Think of it as a communication tool, a translator. It's the bridge that has been missing between the three most important people in a child's education: you, your child, and their teacher.
So I'll just leave you with this thought. We often think that making a big difference requires some huge, time-consuming effort. But what if it doesn't? What if changing your child's entire relationship with learning, what if that could all start with just 5 focused, meaningful minutes a day?